Hey tubers, it's Ben the Curious Consumer and welcome back to the Pinterest Pirates. Today we're going to be doing something a little special. Now, you know Xavier the Jr. Consumer. He's not home right now. He's out at his uncle's house hanging out, and so I figured I'd do something a little special for him. This isn't a typical video I would normally do on this channel. I usually do this on my other channel, The Curious Consumer, so check that out. But today, I wanted to do something special for Xavier. He's been doing really good at school, and lately he's been addicted to this game called Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. So what I decided to do while he was gone was to modify his controller. Now, I'm not going to modify it like by soldering things in there. I'm going to do a very easy modification to his controller. He's also really into Pokemon. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the games for the Nintendo Switch, the Pikachu and Evee game. So I went online and I found a really cool modification you can do to your Nintendo Switch Pro controller, and it only takes a few minutes. It's an actual reshell kit that changes your Nintendo Switch Pro controller from this and actually turns it into a Pikachu controller. So you'll have little Pikachu characters all over the controller, and it will have the two colors, one being yellow and one being like a darkish mustard color for Evee. So we're going to do that today, and I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, cool. So let's get started. So first off, you see here I've got my Nintendo Switch Pro controller, typical regular controller. We are going to need a few tools for this, however, starting off with either a tri-wing screwdriver or a Phillips head screwdriver. Now the tri-wing screwdriver has 3 edges to it, where the Phillips head screwdriver has the regular cross head on it. So what we're going to do is start by unscrewing the screws here on the bottom of the controller. And on this case, in this controller, it looks like it's a regular Phillips head screwdriver. If for some reason you try doing this and it looks like a tri-wing screwdriver, you may need to get a security bit. I will leave links in the description below on the kit itself that we're going to be doing today. Also, I'm going to leave links to the tools. You'll notice there's no other screw marks or any other screw holes on the back of the controller, and then these little palm grips just slide right off. So we're going to take those off and we're going to put those aside for now. After we do that, you're going to notice that it's going to reveal 4 more screws here on the back. All right, so once we get those off, we just kind of have to just pry this off just a little bit, and then the back plate just comes right off. We're going to put that aside as well. Let's take the battery out. We want to make sure we take the battery out of there. That way, you know, we don't cause any issues with the maybe touching something metal here with our screwdriver. Now, there's going to be a few more screws that we have to take out. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 right down here at the bottom. So you're going to need to make sure that you use a elongated screwdriver for this, so it can fit all the way down to be able to touch the screws. The company that I found this replacement housing shell for makes a whole bunch of other replacement housing shells. They make one that looks like a Super Nintendo controller. They also make one that looks like the Super Smash Bros. Collector's controller. So that's cool, because if you didn't get your hands on one of those, and I will be doing a reshell of that as well on one of my other Nintendo Switch Pro controllers, that's a really cool one. I really like that one, so I want to do that with one of my controllers. So once we get all those screws out, you got to be a little bit careful. Going to actually be a little bit tougher to pull these apart here, because they actually have a little stickers on them that actually hold this whole front assembly on to the middle assembly, and it will feel like you're pulling it apart. It should clip a little bit. Let's see here. I'm stuck on one of the thumb pads, and once you get it this far, you're going to notice there's a little ribbon cable here in the middle. You see that ribbon cable right there, that white ribbon cable? So what we got to do is either remove it from the front or the back. In this case, I'm going to remove it from the front. And all I'm going to do, there's this little, see if I can pull this around so you can see it. There's this little black piece right here. I don't know if you can see that very well. And all I'm going to do is flick that up with my fingernail. Once I do that, this ribbon cable comes right out. So then this part here, I'm not really going to touch. I'm going to leave this part for the middle of the next controller. And this is where you see that little secret message on the inside there. So right underneath here, it actually says, "Thanks to all gamers," which is a pretty cool little message that Nintendo did put on here. So we're going to put this aside. And we're going to have to take apart this front portion here. So all this assembly comes out so we can then put it onto the assembly of the other side. So before I do that, however, I want to take the other pieces out of the box. That way we can see what we're working with and we can kind of place everything on the table so we can put the buttons in correctly. All right, so let's open up the top. Let's slide out the inside. And here's the controller that I'm going to be replacing. I don't want to look at that at all. All right, so if I just slide this out of place, you're going to see that here are the two palm pieces, and the palm pieces are two different colors. One is more of a like a bright yellow, one of them is like a dark mustard. So we're going to put both of those aside. And here is the front and back shell, which is why we kind of need that middle part to stay the same. So I'm going to open up the front shell here. It does come with these buttons as well. So we're going to take and slide this out, and you can see right here, if you look at that controller face, you can see like the little Pikachus and Evees all over the controller. So it's going to be a really cool looking controller change here. So we'll keep this here on the side. Actually, we're going to flip it over. We'll keep it on the plastic so it doesn't really like scratch the front. Let's put the colored buttons in just to see what it'll look like on the front. All right, when we're done, because I think it'll look different enough with those colored buttons. So all you want to do, you can see here that these buttons here have their own little, let's see if we can see that. They have their own little like pieces sticking off the side of that circular button. And those pieces are used to guide it into the proper hole here. So if you take a look at the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, you'll see the Y goes on the closest part to the inside, the X to the top, the A on the outside, and the B on the bottom. So we just want to mirror that here. So again, we're going to take this little green button, we're going to slide it into place, and you'll see that those three little parts just let it fall right into place. It definitely just does its own. It works on its own. So we'll put the B down here at the bottom because that slides right in. And these are just little guides. These little guides just guide these little buttons into place, which is pretty cool. So you can guarantee that your buttons, and I'll put my fingers here just to hold them in place, are going to be facing the right direction. All right, cool. So now that we've got that there, let's slowly take this apart here. So it looks like we have three more screws, one screw here, one here in the middle, and one over here. So let's take those three screws out. But, oh, we forgot one more screw right here. This whole process shouldn't take you longer than like 10 minutes if you have some skill here. If not, just take your time. There's no need to rush this part. So see how that front assembly just came right out. You just kind of grab from the front, pull straight up. Set that aside for now because we have to transfer these other buttons over. So all the membranes placed back in, and now all we're going to do is pick up the piece that we had before and we're going to slide it right back into place here. All right, making sure that it goes over the little posts there, and now it's flat. And I can take my 4 screws that I had before and start screwing it back together. So one, I'll place starting here. looks good. Look at that. Everything feels good so far. All right, so now what we need to do is put this ribbon cable back into place. And it's just going to slide back in, and this little flap right here, this little flap that I pulled up with my fingernail before, is just going to flip back down over the top, and that's going to lock that ribbon back into place. And now I'm going to line the pieces up again. So you got to make sure the thumbsticks come through. Wiggle it around, and you just put it right back into place like that. So now the thumbsticks are sticking out just the way they should. And now we're just going to reassemble. Remember, the black screws go in next, the silver screws after that, and then we put on the palm pieces, with obviously not forgetting to put in the battery. You'll see that there's the lights here will be flashing here on the bottom. We just screwed those into place, and we are good to go. So that is it. That is the entire reshell kit here. So if you take a look at that, there you are. There's the new Pikachu Evee Super Switch controller. Super Switch is the company that makes these. Really easy kit to do. Really cool. I highly recommend it if you're thinking about changing your controller or making it look custom. You can make these look as custom as you'd like. They come in different colors. They have different ones. They've got green, they've got blue, they've got purple. They also have, like I said, the Super Smash Brothers logoed one, which I'll be doing a video on in my other channel, The Curious Consumer. So definitely check that out if you'd like to see what these look like. And they feel just the same as the Nintendo's controller does. It feels very good in the hand. It's actually the same shape. Everything fits perfectly. And that's it. That is the modification to Xavier's controller. If you guys like this video, please give us a big thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, consider subscribing. We do all sorts of different things on this channel. We do experiments. We actually do things like this, like modifications now. And if you guys have any questions about what we've done, definitely reach out to us down below. Guys, I really appreciate you guys stopping by. Thanks so much, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.